Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, your Greater Toronto Area real estate resource, and I'm going to share with you some shocking data during this video, and at the end of the video you're going to learn some things that you probably wouldn't have seen in the news. If you are considering buying or selling, make sure to pick up the phone and call me, and real estate agents looking for a great brokerage, definitely reach out to me to learn more about eXp Realty, and if you find value in this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. We have all the data extracted from the MLS for August 2023, so we can see how we can take advantage if we're a buyer or we are a seller. And the first chart we're looking at shows a month-by-month breakdown of the very important metrics being sales, active listings, months of inventory, average price, and days on market. And one of the biggest talking points is that the number of sales is especially low. Now, it was very low in July as well, 5,250, in August, 5,294. So a lot of people thought that July was just a very slow month and that the sales would pick up. But that hasn't been the case. A low number of sales means it's going to affect other industry as well. It's going to affect our economy. Less mortgages are going to be taking place. And whenever we see the number of sales drop so dramatically, it poses a lot of questions in the mind of investors who are in the marketplace wondering if they should buy or if they should hold off until the market somewhat stabilizes. Comparing this number 5,294 to back in April to back in May, we had over 9,000 sales, and look at April, there was over 7,500 sales. Now let's take a look at the number of sales that take place every year. For example, in 2022, there was a very low number, just over 75,000 sales, and then in COVID, there was over 121,000 sales. So if we were to only have about 5,000 sales a month and that were to continue for the rest of the year, this would be history in the Greater Toronto Area. Now, taking a look at the number of active listings, this number as well is very similar to July. In August, there was 15,497 active listings. In July, 15,371. And this is an especially high number. If we look back to January and February, there was just around 9,200 or 9,600 active listings. So if we look at the number of active listings and we look at the number of sales that are taking place each month, this indicates to us whether we're in a market that's more advantageous to sellers or more advantageous to buyers. And this number is reflected by the months of inventory. And the higher the number of months of inventory, the more of a buyer's market it is. And conversely, the lower the months of inventory, the more advantageous the market is for sellers. So the number was 2.93 both in July and in August, and contrasting that back to March when the market was very strong, it was only 1.47. So although there's been similarities from July to August 2023, one thing that has changed quite significantly is the average price. Yes, that's right, the average price has actually decreased to $1,080,000. In July, it was $1,180,000. Back in February, the average price was $1,040,000. So what's been taking place over the past few months is listings are taking longer to sell, and what all this data is showing us is that buyers, it's a great time for you to get into the market. Of course, make sure that you connect with a mortgage broker so you can understand financially what may make sense for you. But the average price has dropped significantly. Also, there's less sales taking place, meaning that there's less competition when you're out there in the market. And the cherry on top is that you have all these listings to choose from, over 15,000 active listings. And looking at DOM, which stands for days on market, that's how long a listing takes to sell from the time it commences. It's just under 3 weeks at 20 days. This is the highest number that we've seen since February 2023. Back then it was 22 days. And from my experience, I really wouldn't call it a buyer's market, because if you list a property and you price it correctly, it will sell with time, with exception of specific price points or specific areas where listings are taking a little bit longer to sell. Just the main difference is that now sellers may not want to consider taking the first offer, or they may not want to opt for the bidding war pricing strategy because of the fact that a lot of listings aren't selling over asking anymore. Now let's take a look at how the average price has changed across different property style. Detached homes, they've increased in value by 2.8%. We're comparing August 2022 to August 2023. Our semi-detached homes have increased by 6.9%. Townhouses are up by 3.9%, and condo apartments, they've dropped by 0.9%. And this is more or less the same situation in different areas of the Greater Toronto Area and even Ontario. Is that freehold properties, they've increased in value if we compare the values now to where they were last year, but condos have decreased in value. And this really doesn't make much sense because rents are at a record high, meaning there's going to be more investors in the market that are wanting to buy property and buy and hold and collect rent. However, what we are seeing in the condo market is that there's a lot of listing supply, so some sellers are putting their listing on the market, but at the same time, they're competing with 4 or 5 other units in the same building with the same floor plan. And of course, whenever supply exceeds demand, prices are compromised. And however, if we look at the 5-year historical average price change, we're looking at $2,000 2019 to 2023. We're specifically looking at the month of August to control other variables. In 2019, the average home was selling for $792,000. Then we saw a significant jump in 2020 to $951,000. In 2021, the average sale was $1,070,000 during August. In 2022, $1,079,000. And then even if we compare it to August 2023, the average home was selling for $1,082,000. Prices are up. At the same time, the market is not as quiet as you may think, because a lot of purchasers that were planning to initially buy resale homes are actually purchasing pre-construction. And if you want to learn more about specific projects across the Greater Toronto Area, make sure to reach out to me, because I can share with you different projects across the Greater Toronto Area and you can understand their payment structures. One of the reasons why people purchase pre-construction is because they don't need to worry about the interest rate now. More so, they're securing the property and they're worrying about the interest rate then in the future once the property closes. And people seem to be more optimistic about the future that the interest rates are going to decrease. If you have any questions or you are considering buying or selling, make sure to call me. And real estate agents looking for a great brokerage, make sure to reach out to me to learn more about eXp Realty. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.